She's white. And because of that, when you consider some of the hard times other people gave her, they were resentful of the fact that this white girl came on the scene where there was a bunch of sisters that preceded her spanning decades that were big time, that deserved a lot of credit. I mean, people looked at the Cheryl Swoops of the world, the Maya Moores of the world, and others, and they said, yo, there was a bunch of people that came before her that did big things for the WNBA. I respect it. It is right. I appreciate it. But whiteness does have its privileges, especially when you got a game. And what a lot of people weren't willing or were a bit reluctant to appreciate was the game on this young white sister of ours. She can ball. And oh, by the way, she was a great ambassador for the game. And by the way, she came in there and looked out for everybody else. For 22 years, they couldn't get chartered flights. That sister got there and it was done in 2 weeks. That's who Caitlin Clark is.
In WNBA history, StephenASmith just delivered the most scary warning. Because of the way she's been treated, Caitlin Clark, the player who single-handedly kept the league afloat, may decide to leave. The pay is humiliating. The physical targeting poses a risk. And Unrivaled is giving her 6 figures plus equity in exchange for 2 months of labor. The WNBA is on the verge of losing its golden goose due to sheer incompetence. Do you believe Caitlin Clark should accept the money and respect from Unrivaled, or should she remain faithful to the WNBA in spite of the garbage wage and ongoing harassment? Leave a comment below.
Next question, row 3 in the center.
Annie Costable, Front Office Sports. This one's for you, Caitlin. Where does your W salary stack up against your deals with State Farm, Gatorade, Nike?
That's a good question. Honestly, I feel like that's where we're really fortunate, is that we have those other deals. And I think that's one of the things that we're in the room fighting for, like Fee said, is, we should be paid more, and hopefully that's the case moving forward as the league continues to grow. I think that's something that's probably the most important thing that we're in the room advocating about.
Next question.
Let's begin with the most awkward reality that StephenASmith is constantly yelling about, and that the WNBA leadership is unwilling to face. Caitlin Clark receives $76,000 annually to represent a whole sport. $76,000 that in some of the cities where she performs, that isn't even enough to purchase a good automobile that NBA mascots, meanwhile, are lowering themselves 6 feet to perform backflips during timeouts while wearing foam suits.
Are we ready to admit the Caitlin Clark effect? Is this happening without Caitlin Clark? Without the popularity? Because we've seen what happened to the ratings when she was out for those 2-3 weeks. Remember that, right? Don't let me bring that up. Don't let me get some receipts now. When Caitlin Clark was out, the WNBA's popularity dissipated. That is a fact. Ticket prices, television ratings, it's a fact. It's undeniable. It's undeniable. That's not to throw shade on a product and act like it doesn't grow at all. It's not to say that there was an improvement and there wasn't an elevation in its popularity. It's just saying that it's on another dimension when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Do you know what the best thing that could happen for the WNBA is right now? Are you ready for this? If Caitlin Clark and the Fever win the championship. If that girl won the championship this early in her career,
the financial disrespect is so outrageous, it almost feels comical. But it stops being amusing the moment you remember this is the athlete who delivered historic TV ratings, packed arenas to capacity, and helped secure charter travel for a league that once competed in half-filled venues while flying commercial. Caitlin Clark is the driving force behind the upcoming league-wide salary increases. She's also the central reason the WNBA is now negotiating media rights agreements valued at hundreds of millions. Yet her compensation amounts to a paycheck that wouldn't even handle Manhattan rent. StephenASmith has consistently called out this imbalance, and he's completely justified in doing so. When you compare that $76,000 league salary to her $28 million Nike contract, plus the millions from Gatorade, State Farm, and Wilson, the numbers become absurd. In reality, she's sacrificing income to suit up in the WNBA once you account for personal security expenses, travel demands, and the strain on her body. And that physical strain deserves serious attention because this is where StephenAS concerns start to sound almost visionary. Caitlin Clark isn't simply being guarded each night. She's being singled out. There's a clear line between tough, physical basketball and what she has endured. The hip check from Kennedy Carter that knocked her to the floor wasn't a standard play. It crossed into something else entirely. And seeing Angel Reese alongside her teammates celebrating the moment on camera reveals just how hostile the atmosphere around Clark has become.
We know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here. And y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up. Who cares? If you're Magic and Bird, that didn't stop Jordan from coming along and doing what he did.
StephenASmith has openly questioned where the safeguarding is. In the NBA, when elite stars like Steph Curry or LeBron James attack the rim, officials make sure to shield them because the league recognizes that those athletes are the engine of the product. If they go down with injuries, the entire enterprise takes a hit. Yet in the WNBA, referees appear hesitant to blow the whistle, allowing seasoned players to play overly physical against the league's brightest draw without repercussions. This goes beyond questionable officiating. It reflects poor business judgment. Every aggressive foul, every unnecessary hit, every instance where Clark is sent crashing to the court without a call, her management team is observing and assessing the danger. Nike committed $28 million to her capacity to compete at the highest tier. Gatorade and State Farm have structured major marketing efforts around her presence. If she were to suffer an ACL tear while earning $76,000, the economic consequences would be enormous.
The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up. Who cares? If you're Magic and Bird, that didn't stop Jordan from coming along and doing what he did. Over the years that followed, it didn't stop the Vince Carters of the world, the Allen Iversons of the world, the Shaq Diesel, Shaquille O'Neals of the world, the Akeem Olajuwons of the world, the Charles Barkleys of the world. Not necessarily in that order, of course, because he came before all of those guys that I mentioned. How about a Vince Carter? How about a Kobe Bryant? It didn't stop them. The fact of the matter is that it has to start somewhere. And if it starts somewhere, a rising tide lifts all boats. You jump on that tide, you jump on that boat and elevate and use them to elevate your play or to elevate the attention you garner. It's very simple, but people didn't want to do that. There was a lot of people that didn't want to do that. Let's call it what it is. I ain't gonna mention no names, but y'all know who they are, and they didn't want to do that. And I'm not talking about players and just players. Talk about announcers too. Talk about pundits as well. There's a whole bunch of people that didn't want to give Caitlin.
The resentment from veteran players has become the emotional spark behind much of this turmoil. Rather than welcoming the rookie who elevated the sport to levels it had never seen before, several established names have seemed determined to cut her down. Sheryl Swoopes publicly downplayed Clark's achievements, suggesting her records lack significance and claiming she isn't as dominant as the hype suggests. Diana Taurasi offered pointed remarks about how challenging the jump to the professional stage can be. This unwillingness to hand over the spotlight is grounded in lingering insecurity. For years, these veterans labored in relative anonymity, competing in sparsely filled arenas and earning salaries that barely sustained them. Then Caitlin Clark arrived and instantly received charter travel, lucrative endorsement deals, and worldwide visibility. That kind of contrast naturally creates bitterness. even though Clark bears no responsibility for it. She didn't design the WNBA's economic system. She simply became the first athlete with the skill and market appeal to reveal how flawed it truly is. StephenASmith has repeatedly criticized this clique-like hostility, and time after time, his assessment has been validated. The league's veteran stars should be expressing gratitude to Clark for the pay increases and upgraded travel arrangements that her revenue impact is making possible. Instead, many have treated her like an outsider who needs to be put through initiation. That kind of response fosters a poisonous workplace culture that simply cannot last. Who chooses to remain in an environment where colleagues openly hope for their downfall, where individual achievement is viewed as a danger instead of a shared triumph? Most people wouldn't, unless they lacked alternatives. But Caitlin Clark does have alternatives, and they are powerful ones. That's where Unrivaled becomes relevant. Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 league launched by Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, embodies the opposite approach of the WNBA. Its model centers on prioritizing elite talent, valuing stars as foundational assets rather than resources to be drained. Reports indicate they are preparing a proposal for Caitlin Clark that could reshape the financial framework of women's basketball. StephenASmith has revealed that Unrivaled's pitch goes beyond simply offering larger contracts. They're discussing equity, partial ownership in the league itself. That structure means as the organization expands, Clark's personal net worth increases alongside it. It's the distinction between working for a paycheck and building stake in a venture. It represents long-term generational prosperity, not just seasonal income. The compensation model Unrivaled is considering is projected to reach 6 figures for a short winter season lasting only a matter of weeks. Think about that for a moment. Caitlin Clark could compete at a high level for just 2 months, earn 5 times what she makes in the WNBA, avoid the punishing 40-game grind with nonstop travel, and still remain the wealthiest and most influential woman in basketball. From a business standpoint, that decision makes itself. Why would any advisor recommend that their client keep playing for $76,000 when far greater earnings are available in a setting that is both safer and more supportive? The only real case for remaining in the WNBA is allegiance to the league and passion for the sport. But loyalty isn't limitless, especially when the organization has responded with consistent hostility. The WNBA fears this possibility because it understands it can't match it. The league is bound by a collective bargaining agreement that restricts salaries through revenue-sharing rules. Even if executives wanted to offer Caitlin Clark $1 million annually, the system prevents it unless comparable increases are extended across the roster. That's the downside of compensating everyone the same regardless of individual market impact. Unrivaled doesn't face those restrictions. As a startup, it has the flexibility to design contracts however it chooses. It can compensate marquee players accordingly and structure deals differently for supporting talent. That's the model followed by virtually every major professional league. While the WNBA's equal pay philosophy may sound principled, it becomes financially irrational when a single athlete is responsible for driving most of the league's income. Almost no one in sports media is more aware of this financial reality than Smith. For months, he has been telling the WNBA that they are playing with fire. Caitlin Clark will walk if they don't drastically change how they treat her. Additionally, she carries the attention of the media, advertisers, and fans with her when she walks.